Greetings, Earthlings. My name is Patrick. I'm an American shaman here in these United States. You read the title of this video correctly. Yes, Jezebel hired an Etsy witch to cast a curse on Charlie Kirk before he died. This is where we are. This is where we are. Now, I love my witches. I love my witches. And the witches that I know would never do stuff like that. No, especially if they didn't have all the information. And, you know, we're living in a time where the majority of Americans they don't even know what the truth is. There are so many differing opinions and beliefs just being cast on a daily basis. It can kind of give you whiplash. Like, you could go on social media and depending on your friend group, I have an eclectic friend group. I have friends from all walks of life. I know people from all walks of life. It's just like, rah, 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 rah. How can so many people have so many different opinions, and yet no one seems really interested in getting at the truth of it all? See, I love truth. I live in truth. Truth makes life easier. If you're not living in truth, life becomes very difficult for you. And so, you know, the Shaman Patrick show is all about calming people down, reducing tensions. You might even want to say unity. The large majority of this channel's audience is women. Hello, my women. I'm a gay man. And I don't feel marginalized or victimized. Do any of y'all? So what's going on here? Why would someone feel the need to cast a curse on someone who is trying to bring people together? It's very, very strange. So yeah, this is another video about the Charlie Kirk thing because it's very in the collective right now. So I want you to know I love my witches. I'm not going to be talking bad about witches in this episode, but witches who feel the need to cast curses, what's up with that? Like, why would y'all need to do that? Why would you need to hurt other people? That's the part that I don't understand. Well, I understand. Let me tell you. Yeah, when I was an alcoholic and unconscious, I hurt a lot of people. I kind of felt justified in hurting other people. But on the day that I surrendered to God and learned how to be a more moral person, I had to be taught how to be moral. Lord knows my parents didn't teach me. So we forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. Because if they really knew what they were doing, they wouldn't do it at all. No. So on this episode of the Shaman Patrick show, let's learn more about how these Etsy witches cast a curse on Charlie Kirk. Are you ready? Let's go.
He was once a storm in human form, sharp tongue, cold soul, heart worn and torn, living like a ghost who missed his grave till the spirit sang out and called him brave. He got rewired by the great unknown, heard the call like a dial tone to the bone. So pull up a chair, enjoy the glow. This is the Shaman Patrick show.
I have an interesting task ahead of me. Even though I'm an American shaman, many people don't know what that is. Some people thought it was just a character class in a video game. And so I have to educate people about what a shaman is and also be that shaman at the same time. It reminds me, and I've said this before, it reminds me of being gay. Like, I had to educate people that I was gay, while also being gay. And I remember having to calm people down. I had to tell other men, like, I'm not trying to fuck you. Okay. I am not into straight guys. Being gay and a shaman is such a weird experience because you get judged a lot. There are stereotypes that people think. Some people think I'm after kids. No. And you can feel you get these projections. Very few questions. All right. I've gotten very few questions in my life about being gay and being a shaman. And it's weird when people don't ask questions. Like, I love questions. I'll be asking people questions about stuff. If I want to know something, I'll go right to the source. I'll go to a lawyer. I'll go to a psychiatrist. I want to know, because I don't want to feel anything unnecessary. You know, I don't want to be angry over something that's not really happening. I don't want to feel bad about something that's not really going on. You know, and when people told me that Trump was taking away my rights, of course I'm going to investigate that. I'm not going to take somebody's word for that. Why would I take somebody's word for that? Especially when somebody tells me that somebody else is a bad person, I'm going to investigate that. Why? Because throughout my life, people have told other people that I'm a bad person, that stay away from him. He's gay. Stay away from him. It hurts. Yeah, it hurts to have these things floating around you. But throughout my life, I have been accepted by people who were able to overcome their prejudices and their stereotypes. I mean, some people, this is the weirdest thing. Some people have gotten to know me and then they've said, "Oh, I was wrong about you." And I'm like, why would you think differently of me? This is where you learn that a lot of people just project. A lot of people just judge without, excuse me. Excuse me. Spirits trying to take my voice. But get to know people. I had the lovely experience of being judged and hated for me when people thought I was a Trump supporter, whatever that means. Oh man, these people were vicious and cruel. And I tried to explain to them, like, I'm not a Trump supporter. And they go, "Yes, you are. Yes, you are." And it got to the point where it's very difficult to correct assumptions about people. Because see, why would I lie to somebody? I mean, I'm not the type of person that needs to lie about anything. And I think that if you know me by watching this channel, you can't really know me, but you know that I strive to be honest, that I believe in truth, and I'm as honest as I can be on YouTube. Because, you know, you're not allowed to talk about some things on YouTube, so I'm as honest as I can be. And I also don't want to drag people into the light, so I don't say names. I tell stories, but I'm as honest as I can be. I believe in honesty. I believe in it. So I'm not the type of person that has to lie or want to lie, but it's still remarkable when people project that onto me. That I'm not telling the truth about certain things. You don't have to lie about anything. And in fact, every time you lie, it makes life harder on you. Now, this doesn't mean you need to tell everybody everything about your life. No, just don't lie to people. Don't lie. I don't like it. I don't like it when people lie because it makes life so much more difficult. Hey, do you want to live an easy life? Do you want to live an easy life? Well, then stop lying. You don't have to lie. Many people don't even know that they're lying. They're so delusional and wrapped up into a fantasy world. They don't even know that they're lying. I was one of those people. So when I discovered that I could not correct assumptions with members of my family or Merrick's family, I realized they need me to play a role. I'm not going to play a role. I'm playing the role of Shaman Patrick, devoted husband, loving spirit worker. That's the role that I'm playing. I'm not going to play whatever role other people need me to play. And so, you know, when we talk about curses and witches and shamans and all this stuff. There are stereotypes. Like it's harder for me to do my job because there are these stereotypes that shamans are evil, that witches are evil, that psychics are bad, or that working with spirits is bad. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. Spirits are all around you. They are all around you. Spirits are just people without bodies, just regular people without bodies. And, you know, particularly I want to talk about it during the time of Allan Kardec and Spiritism. Did you know that if you read the Spirits book, it is the loveliest, most beautiful doctrine of how to be moral and treat other human beings with kindness and respect and atone for your mistakes. Like if you read the Spirits book, it's beautiful. It is gorgeous. But the Spirits book undermined religious authority at that time. That's why the Catholic Church tried to shut that shit down. And we know that, especially Catholicism, they know you're not supposed to see psychics. You're not supposed to see witches. You're not supposed to see a shaman. You're not supposed to engage with this shit at all. The church has to be your link to God. It has to be that way because these spirits will help you with anything that you're going through. No middleman. And naturally, the church is going to try to shut that shit down each and every time. It's a lock. The way the church does it is by making you afraid of spirits and all of that. Now, I'm a shaman, and I tell people I'm a shaman because I work with lower order spirits and evil spirits and things like that. But when I say I work with them, I help people let them go. I help show those lower order spirits the harm they are causing, and I encourage those spirits to go to a higher plane of existence. It's the progression of spirits, you see, the progression of it. You are a spirit in a human body. We're all spirits. And when you understand that there's nothing evil or wrong about working with spirits, because you're already working with them anyway. You are. And, you know, this is like Christians, you can have your beliefs. You can have your beliefs. I love Christians. I love Christian beliefs. But at the same time, I get a lot of shit from Christians think I'm evil. I mean, even in my own community, people have started to avoid me in my community because they think I'm evil. I've never done anything evil. I've never called anybody. I've been overwhelmingly nice to everyone in the community. I haven't been drunk in this town. I have been nice. I have been helpful. I have been conscientious, even when they're being mean and hateful to me. Yeah, some of these people in our community have been very mean and hateful to me. But I'm nice. I don't give it back to them. They will gossip about me, rumor about me, all this other kind of stuff. But I've never done anything to give them that. It's all made up in their head. They have to hate me because I'm not a Christian. Have to. Isn't this loopy? Isn't this crazy? So that's a little bit about how stereotypes and prejudices can warp your perception of reality. You know, in a similar vein, I never saw Charlie Kirk be homophobic or racist or hateful at all. I never saw any of that stuff. And when people said that he was being that way, they were taking his quotes out of context. And you can find that information if you want. So why do people need me to be a bad guy? Why do they need Charlie Kirk to be a bad guy? Well, because if Charlie Kirk was a good guy, it would negate a story, and it would mean that they were wrong. And people who cannot be wrong, people who need to be right, will make you wrong. I saw this happen in my family, Merrick's family. They'll make you wrong. because they need to be right. And you can't hang out with people like that. People who need to be right like that, you can't hang out with them because you're going to be wrong. They'll fucking destroy you as long as they get to be right. It's a form of witchcraft and cursing, if you will. Almost every problem with me and my family could be solved by one 30-minute honest conversation. Probably wouldn't even take that long, 5 minutes. Same with Merrick's family. 5 minutes. They're not going to have it. They're not going to have it because that honest conversation would mean that they were wrong, and they're not going to be wrong. They need to be right. They need to be right so badly that they will burn down their relationships and their lives. It's sad. It's truly, truly sad. All right. So with that said, let's watch this video from Megyn Kelly.
First, I have a sort of out of left field story to bring to you. And then I want to start with it. I've been wrestling with whether to bring you this story for a few days now. I've been wrestling because I find it so vile and off and odd. I wasn't even sure where to go with it. But I decided that I had to do it because the groups who did this deserve public censure. I learned when I was out in Arizona last week that 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the far-left website Jezebel declared that it had a mission to cast bad luck or a curse on Charlie. They wanted to hurt him in some way. They declared, quote, if the far-right misogynist with a bad haircut wants to villainize independent women, Jezebel is more than happy to be the hag of his nightmares. And they went on to the website Etsy, yes, Etsy, to, quote, cast a curse on him. Yes, this is actually a thing. Etsy, the website known for making arts and crafts on demand, will happily cast a hex through its witches, who you can hire, on someone if you ask them to. The Jezebel crew was delighted to discover, quote, it's not uncommon for the so-called witches on Etsy to channel their energy toward thwarting Republicans. There's even a subreddit devoted to casting nightly hexes on Trump.
Now, let me say something here. The Jezebel used to be part of that Gawker Media. Y'all know about Gawker? Lovely, lovely organization that did all sorts of shit. So let's look at this Jezebel website. Now, I can tell you that Republicans are not coming for your rights. They are not coming for your rights. If I thought they were coming for my rights, I would be mobilized, y'all. I would be mobilized. They're not coming for your right. What are they doing? At this point, I think, we're just trying to save America here. But so this is, it purports to be like a gossip website, for women. But some of these articles are just flat out wrong. Let me highlight something. You know, Lilith Fair. This is an article, and it's an opinion. It's an opinion. But right here, it says, here's just a quote. All right, it's scary to people that hold power when women gain power too. I think sometimes it's a sort of an unconscious positive pendulum swing. When a bunch of young women are getting what they want and making what they want, that's a threat. Well, this is a projection. This is a projection, because I've heard this from women that men hate women and that men want to control women, and that men want to subjugate women. It's kind of like they're projecting their victim status out into the world and putting it on other people who don't care about them. Don't care about them. They've invented terms like the patriarchy to make it so that they're victims. Why do people want to be victims? And so, you know, nobody hates women. They don't. But women can hate themselves and project it onto other people. And they often do. So this Jezebel magazine has this narrative that people want to hurt women and gays. So let's say if a gay man hates himself for being gay, we call it internalized homophobia. And men with internalized homophobia hate on other gay men. They hate on other people. So part of this is accepting yourself. A woman who truly is in her femininity and who loves herself won't have this worldview. This is an unloved worldview. Like, I don't think women are weak. I don't think women are like that. I don't project that onto women, that they need to be saved or that they need any help or assistance. And I also know that masculinity is being restored on this planet, and at the same time, femininity is being restored. Like, I'm doing a podcast with someone, and he's straight, and I'm gay, and talking to him, I'm like, I really do not know how women operate. So I, him being romantically involved with other women, I don't have that. I'm not attracted to women. I don't know women in that way. But women want to feel safe. Women want to feel protected. And when they don't feel that, I mean, then they'll project this kind of stuff out into the world. So I'm telling you, I have talked to scores and scores of straight men. And I think straight men would talk to me in a way that they're not going to talk to a woman. And men genuinely want to love women and raise families. That's what men are all about. And if they can't have that, they are going to play video games and live their own life. Calling them incels or something like that. Men genuinely want to love women. They do. And the saddest part of all of this is that magazines like Jezebel put forth this narrative that Republicans want to harm women, or that Republicans want to take away women's rights or gay rights. They don't, you know why they don't call it gay anymore? It's queer. It's a political ideology. The queer, when they say queer, that it's part of that agenda to violently overthrow the government. That's what it is. That's why they say queer. Anybody who says queer it's not about being gay. It's about this political ideology of overthrowing a government. And unless there's a bad government, there's nothing to overthrow. So a lot of this is political garbage. A lot of it is just, it's not true. I mean, I have not found any overtures that Republicans want to destroy women's rights or the rights of gays. In fact, if you do some digging, you might find that conservatives are some of the nicest people you will ever meet. They will not try to cancel you. They will not try to get you fired unless you're dangerous. They will accept you with open arms. I'm not a conservative, but I know conservatives and I know Democrats. Who is being the most nasty right now? Or who's been the most nasty? Well, I think we know that. But y'all, honey, y'all are being lied to, okay? Why do you like being lied to? Nobody's coming for your right. People are trying to preserve America. Conservatives are trying to preserve the freedom, the liberty, the equality, the rights. And y'all are just being lied to. Why are they lying to you? Because they want to violently overthrow the government. Have you asked yourself what government are we going to have after this one is overthrown? You know, they're trying to overthrow the Trump administration. They're trying to overthrow the United States government. What kind of government are we going to have after that? Have y'all thought about that? I mean, What happened to working with people? What happened to unity? You know, regardless if you like the president or not, he is the president right now. And the way, and I thought this was so weird in the last the last time Trump was president. All this hate, that doesn't get anything done. That doesn't get anything done. Hey, whoever the president is, we got to work with them because this is our country, right? So anything like this that is just not, it's just not even true. It's all about overthrowing the government. It is. And I don't know why people can't see that. I don't know why. Maybe because they don't know the right questions to ask. But that's Jezebel. And over on Etsy, you can get curses for your enemies. Now, what do my witches out there think about this? What do y'all think about buying curses for people? You know, this one is on sale. This one's 60% off. I personally would never do anything like this because I know that people, every time somebody has done something to me, that I had a role in it. And that's one of the things you learn when you get sober. You learn that you have a role in your own suffering. And so I don't know, these seem very desperate. They don't seem very spiritually evolved. You know, if you're going to engage in this kind of stuff, what have you thought of just forgiving your enemies? Something more powerful, something more conscious. Have you just thought about forgiving your enemies? Yeah, but for the low price of $550, destroy the lives of your enemies. Man, I just feel so much pain in that. Destroying lives. I mean, you could be lifting people up. You could be helping people. This is going to cause me to shift. You know, I don't have many enemies. The only enemies I've ever had are people who were jealous or envious. I don't even understand that. But I love my enemies. I love them because they show me, they encourage me to be a better person. They encourage me to be better, to not respond or attack back. They teach me how to be a better person. And I'm grateful for those lessons.
Jezebel decided Charlie Kirk, who they've repeatedly described as far right, the founder of the right-wing conspiracy theory factory, Turning Point USA, is, quote, more irritating than most, and asked its audience if they were, quote, interested in punishing Kirk for years of regressive rhetoric with a curse, with a hex on him. After all, they told readers, he's basically a fake news vending machine. The article notably does not list the name of any particular author, but simply uses its company name as the byline. So we don't know exactly which writer or staffer at Jezebel, which has long been a disgusting publication, came up with the idea. But since they're attributing it to all of them, so will we in terms of our blame. It was, in fact, the brainchild of one writer, however, because it is written in the first person, a female. The writer explains now, is it ethical to curse a man I've never met? Probably not. But is it unethical to let him keep talking? Yes. Now comes the obligatory ass-covering paragraph in the piece.
But here's the thing. When somebody is I have never heard, like, they say that Charlie Kirk is a Nazi, white supremacist, and all of that. And just because you say somebody is that doesn't mean that they are. As somebody who's been called plenty of names in my lifetime, like I have been called every name you can think of, including anti-Semitic, Nazi, racist, homophobic. They called me those names. It doesn't make me that. It doesn't automatically make me those things. And at some point I got to this point, like, why do you need me to be a racist? Why do you need me to be homophobic? Why do you need me to be these things. I don't understand. Why do you need me to be something that I'm not so that you can continue to tell a victim story? You want to tell a victim story, so you need a perpetrator? I mean, why did I had an ex-boyfriend accuse me of abusing him? I didn't abuse him. Why do you need me to be an abuser? Why? It's usually because they want to hold on to a victim story, or they're just up to no good. Because I'm a person who lives in truth would be considered an obstructionist to machinations and manipulations. I don't know if this video is right or not, but this is going around on X, and it's about the communist directive.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable build-ups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
So it's why my father called me crazy. It's why my father sent me to a mental hospital when I was young, because I knew the truth that he was an abusive alcoholic. Discredit me. I had to be discredited by my own father. Something similar happened in Merrick's family. So I need to be the crazy one. Usually if you're labeled crazy by people, they did it with Michael Jackson. They did it. Anybody who might know the truth about something, they will label you as crazy. They'll call you mentally ill. They're doing it with Candace Owens. Anybody who can speak the truth. Because I don't know if this is a communist takeover or a simulated communist takeover. But I'm telling you, conservatives are not taking it anymore. They're not taking the blame. They're not taking the accusations and the outright lies, because the shit gets people killed. It gets people killed. It does. I know in my father's case, they were kind of hoping I'd die. It's kind of a narcissistic parent, a narcissistic alcoholic parent. The crown jewel is when their child kills themselves, dies, so that the secrets die with them. You don't normally hear from people like me. Gay shamans, scapegoated kids, we usually die. We don't make it. This society is not set up for gay shaman, scapegoated kids to make it. In fact, we're going to bear the burdens of society. And the fact that I have gone through so much shit has given me a really good bullshit detector. And yeah, that freaks people out, especially people with something to hide. But I'm not interested in revealing secrets of other people. I'm not. I'm interested in helping people realize that what they believe and what they've been told might be a lie. Might be a lie. But I think, after, Charlie Kirk died, my husband and I looked at each other and said, "God, man, conservatives have been so patient with this stuff. The lies, the accusations, the meanness. Conservatives have been enormously patient with liberals. And that's changing. I think they're no longer patient. They're not. Would you let somebody lie about you repeatedly? How many lies would somebody need to tell about you before you said, no more? For me, it's at 3 lies. I let people lie to me 3 times, and I let them know, like, "Oh, honey, you don't have to lie to me." The first lie, "Oh, honey, you don't have to lie to me." The second lie, if you continue to lie to me, I'm not going to be able to hang out with you because I live in truth. The third lie, I'm like, "Well, it's a lost cause. Later." So I'm very generous. I'll let people lie to me a few times. Some people may have never had anybody stand up to their lies before. But at some point, I got kind of sick. Like, I'm not going to let you tell a lie about me or to me. And they do. They do. Let's go back to this Megyn Kelly video.
To stave off any negative publicity for Jezebel. Quote, I want to make it clear I'm not calling on dark forces to cause him harm. I just want him to wake up every morning with an inexplicable zit. I want his podcast microphone to malfunction every time he hits record. I want his blue blazers to suddenly all be one size too small. I want one of his socks to always be sliding down his foot. I want his thumb to grow too big to tweet, to ruin his day with the collective feminist power of the Etsy coven would be my life's greatest joy. So even in her ass covering, she was asking for Charlie to be rendered less attractive, to not be able to use his microphone and silence his voice, to have discomfort foisted upon him, to stop his ability to tweet or spread his message, and to, quote, ruin his day. Got it? That's the nice part of the Jezebel article. She tells the reader she placed her first spell on Etsy, and it was, quote, in all caps, make everyone hate him. And she wondered aloud, how long would it take to kick in? The witch servicing Jezebel on Etsy contacted the writer and asked if she would like to, quote, amplify the energetic support of the spell for an extra $50. She did it. She goes on, for the powerful hex spell, I had to provide Kirk's date of birth for accuracy. The witch informed her that she, the witch, had performed the hex and that it was successful. Jezebel wanted to know when they were getting results on their curse. And while their article about all of this it was published on Monday, September 8th, it makes clear that the writer contracted for the curse in late August. She says she wanted it to line up with the new moon in Virgo, which this year meant August 23rd. That tracks because she points out in the piece that by August 24th, she was waiting impatiently for results. The witch, they reveal, promised on August 23rd that, quote, you will see the first results within 2 to 3 weeks. This was 18 days before Charlie was killed. Not satisfied with this curse, the amped up one, alone, Jezebel reached out to a, quote, third witch, Priestess Lilin. Jezebel opined, if enough people cursed a single person, would the results be stronger? Quote, when I asked her if she'd noticed more political figures being targeted these days, she said yes. The next day, Lilin sent the Jezebel writer proof of the hex she had cast, quote, a photograph in flames, the edges slowly curling inward, engulfing Charlie's ridiculous, scrunched up little face. She whispered, I imagine, writes the Jezebel reporter, trust the unseen. Chills, writes Jezebel. Sunday, August 24th passed, writes the author, and nothing. Monday, August 25th, still nothing. Tuesday, August 26th, nothing. But then she writes, she reminded herself, this is witchcraft, not Amazon. The forces operate on their own schedule. The Jezebel writer ends the piece as follows. So, did my Etsy curses work? Time will tell. The forces move in mysterious ways. And as the priestess Lilin reminded me, spell work is a collaboration between the caster, the client, and the universe itself. For now, we can only trust in the timing of the great unknown. To you, Mr. Kirk, may the rash come swiftly.
Now, I feel bad for everybody involved in this. I feel bad for Jezebel. I feel bad for the witches. I feel bad because, you know, wishing harm on other people puts you in a frequency of hatred and vengeance. And most of what people, if not all of what people were upset with Charlie about, was repeated lies from other people. It's kind of like what Mid Whitney Webb is doing with Palantir, taking the founders of that company's quotes out of context to put forth the idea that these people are bad. You have to love everybody. You have to realize that you Everybody out in the world is you projected outward. If you see something you don't like, it's in you. It's not in other people. It is, if you hate Charlie Kirk, he was showing something in you that you couldn't stand. It's like this with everything. You create your own reality. I don't often go hard on it on this channel, but for right now, let's get a little bit higher without drugs. Let's look at it. And so Charlie Kirk was kind of this mirror, and Charlie talked about love. He talked about open debate. He wanted people to find joy, freedom, the comfort of a spouse, to have children. He was promoting this. And if somebody heard that as hatred, if somebody heard that as disgusting or something, or control even, it's in that person. It's your job to sort it out. Hey, if somebody makes you feel some type of way, it's your job to sort that out. To not hate them, but to love them. You know, in recovery, we have a saying, seek to understand, not be understood. Yeah, I'm sober, so I'm gonna have a weirder idea. I'm a weirdo, you see? But our credo is, if we look out into the world and see something disturbing, it's because we are disturbed. It's our responsibility. We don't need to cast spells to harm our enemies, because we don't have any. We have discovered through lots of shadow work, lots of inner work, working on ego issues, that the problem is always with us. We have a role in it. And so if we think people out there mean us harm, it's us that mean ourselves harm. And that might be a little bit too high-minded for people to understand. But this is low-level stuff. That somebody wanted to curse a man for his opinions. And if they had listened to those opinions, they would have found that they would have been wrong about him. I've watched several people realize that they were lied to about Charlie Kirk. You should be very upset with the people who lied to you about this. Not upset at the people who are trying to tell you the truth. You should be upset at the people who lied to you. Like, I'm a very loyal person. I'm a ride or die. I love people. I'll do anything for somebody that I love. And over the past couple of years, I've watched people that I love, that I would have been there to the end, make up reasons, make up things about me so that, I don't know, they could hurt me or cause me harm. It's so fucking weird. And to those people who did that, I'm like, man, you must really hate yourself. Because I love all people. I love you. And if you want to not have somebody in their life that would just love you, it's pretty sad. It's pretty sick, isn't it? Part of my job in working with people in recovery is to love them back to life. The work I do saves people's lives. I know it. I know it does. People have told me. And you want to prevent somebody who loves people? You want to prevent somebody who saves people's lives from doing their work? How many lives did Charlie Kirk save by giving people hope or saying, hey, you don't have to be hateful, mean, isolated, alone. You don't have to believe the lies that people are telling you. And your response is, so I say these people at Jezebel just hate themselves. The witches who feel like they have to cast curses on enemies. Why don't you love yourselves, honey? Why don't you love yourself? If you look out into the world and see that something needs to be fixed or changed or other people need, you got to do something. You have to protect other people. No. Behind all of this is y'all useful idiots. Are you being used by a political party? Are you being used? Don't be a tool. Be an instrument of God, not a tool for a political party.
2.5 weeks after those curses were requested and cast, 2 days after Jezebel published that article, Charlie was killed by an assassin's bullet. I know what you're thinking. This is a bullshit Etsy curse. Why are we spending time on this? I'm going to get to that in a minute. Stay with me for now. After the shooting, Jezebel took down the article, quote, on the recommendation of our lawyers. They underscored that the piece was meant to be humorous, intended as satire, and that they made clear they wished Charlie, quote, no physical harm, which is not the full story now, is it? At the same time, they said of the article, quote, we stand by every word, which means they did want him cursed. They wanted everyone to hate him. They wanted it to be powerful, and they wanted Charlie, quote, punished for years of regressive rhetoric. They also made clear that taking down the article was, quote, driven by an abundance of caution for our staff. In other words, they were worried about violence against them by Charlie Kirk supporters. They also, they wrote, wished, quote, to avoid the piece being misused in a tense and volatile environment. There was not, they made clear, any change in their editorial and judgment. In fact, they emphasized, quote, we may republish at a later date. They then rambled on about the country's gun problem and the heated political divide in the country and free speech, noting they do not actually condone political violence. Now, again, you may be saying to yourself, why are we talking about Etsy curses? None of this is real. Well, 2 things. First of all, Christians are opposed to casting spells or trying to contact the spirit world, not only because they believe there's only one God, but because they acknowledge the existence of the devil and evil spirits. Here is Father Mike Schmidt. He was on the day Charlie died, helping us through that as well. But he came on our show first time a couple of years ago, and here he is discussing this very subject.
I'm gonna interrupt here and say, I feel like they're trying to, how I call it the badger and blame. The badger and blame. It's a common narcissistic abuse tactic. They will badger you until you react. Like they'll badger you and then they can blame you. So I feel like all these little Marxist revolutionaries, they're just poking at conservatives because see, they know that Christians and God-fearing people are not violent people. Also, legal gun owners are some of the nicest people you meet. Why are legal gun owners so law-abiding? Because they want to be able to keep their guns. So legal gun owners are very law-abiding. You want there to be legal gun owners because legal gun owners ensure that a tyrannical government will chill themselves out. You can't have an armed populace and an authoritarian tyrannical government. So I feel a lot of this stuff is like poking the bear. Like they want a civil war. They want conservatives to react with anger and hatred. They want conservatives to shut down speech, and they're going to be even more vile and more hateful and tell more lies. Because if you try to shut them up, well, hey, you're against free speech. I thought you were for free speech. And that's what I see. And it takes enormous presence and love and leaning in to forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. And I'm sure there's people out there right now that think that I'm trying to promote conservatism, and I'm not. I'm just calling it like I see it. And I see, I'm a shaman. I've taken myself out of this a little bit, but I know that there are people in it. There are people that I love that are all wrapped up in this ideology of lies. I've seen them. They're like, everything that comes out of their mouth is a hateful thing. They haven't spoken anything about love. And some people that I met in 2018, some of my in-laws, they speak is hate. That's all they talk about. How much they hate this and hate that and hate this and hate that. Complaining, resentment, grievance. And I feel so bad for them because they are wrapped up in this ideology, which is all about grievances, resentments. You can't live that way. It's going to make you sick. It's going to make you die. It's going to consume you. That hate is going to take you over. And I know that those people, I tried to tell her, honey, that's not true. That's not true. Why are you upset about that? It's not true. Yes, it is. So on a similar vein, like I'm trying to tell Christians, hey, there aren't many evil spirits. You don't have to worry about this. Hey, shamanism is a spiritual practice. You can be a Christian and still understand that disease starts in the mind. But man, it's these stereotypes. In the times of the Bible, when they were trying to establish Christianity, they wanted to get rid of all alternative religions. They wanted to get rid of them because they needed this one unifying religion, Christianity. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad that happened. But now some of these more ancient forms of spirituality are coming back. And you don't have to be afraid of them. I mean, shamanism is the oldest spiritual practice. It was around long before Christianity. Christianity is one of the youngest religions out there, youngest spiritual practices out there. It's like a baby. It's brand new. Shamanism has been around for 50,000 years or more. It's the OG, yo. But Christians don't like this shit. And I think that we need to lower the temperature about all of this stuff.
The motivation behind the Ouija board is actually something where I'm trying to contact spirits. And someone could say, well, I'm trying to contact nice spirits or good spirits. And the unfortunate thing we know about is that, yes, when God created angels, he created angels. They're good. They're beautiful. They're in harmony with him. But also we know that a number of those said no to God. A person who's reasonable would say, but I'm just playing. And I would say, I completely understand that.
Now, the thing about the Ouija board, I mean, I've had interactions with Ouija boards, and let me tell you, I broke the Ouija board because some spirits got through the Ouija board, but see, everything happens for good. I broke the Ouija board in a ritual to the Prince song Alphabet Street. If you listen to the Prince song Alphabet Street, you will see that it's about the Ouija board, the Alphabet Street, and that the spirits had to come down. And I'm going to reveal something about that song. And the lyrics, we're going down, down, down. If that's the only way to make this cruel, cruel world hear what we got to say, put the right letters together and make a better day. And then later on in the song, he gives instructions on how to break the Ouija board. And I have done this with people in a ritual format. It's one of the very few songs that Prince has allowed me to do a ritual to. I'm a shaman. I'm going to talk about this stuff. So if you've had any paranormal Ouija board trauma, contact me and I will help you break the Ouija board. Hold on you. But these spirits had to get in some way. We're going down if that's the only way. And so I don't see spirits as evil. And I don't see the Ouija board as bad. It had to be a certain way. But at some point you do have to break that you have to close that portal. You have to close it at some point. And scaring people away from this stuff is not necessarily the way to go.
And then I would say, at the same time, you remember the movie The Exorcist?
Of course.
Yeah. How can you forget it? So that story is based off of two true stories. And one of the true stories is, I believe, about, if I can get the details right, is about a young man who was at, kind of like a birthday party, some kind of celebration of some sort with kids. And they just busted out the Ouija board and just played for fun. But that was an entry point for what ultimately became a possession.
Yeah, don't play with the Ouija board if you're not in a good place. But sometimes, higher order spirits often employ lower order spirits to teach you a lesson, to help you grow spiritually. So nothing bad ever happens. So I wouldn't tell people to do that. And, you know, using a movie like The Exorcist, it's a movie, but man, it's a scary movie. It is. I mean, but demons never win. Demons never win. And,
In other words, you're playing with fire, messing with this stuff.
You are playing with fire with messing with this stuff. You really are. Curses. I mean, you have to kind of earn the right to work with spirits. And usually it requires great sacrifice. You have to build relationships with your spirit allies. And you kind of have to be pure of heart. You kind of have to be in it for the right reasons. And, you know, early in my initiation, I had to work with some pretty nasty spirits. I was trained by spirits. I was trained by non-physical entities. And, you know, today I work with primarily high order spirits because high order spirits employ lower order spirits. But anytime I've had a tangle with a lower order spirit, I knew it was something that I had to do, that I had to deal with. And in God's reality, there are no mistakes. So if you are going to mess with spirits and stuff like that, it's not a casual thing. You know, I joke a lot on this channel and I laugh a lot on this channel, but it's no joking matter either. Like if you're going to go to a shaman, make sure they're sober, make sure they're true, make sure that they're honest people as well as honest shamans. Stay away from those types of shamans that want to feed you drugs and appeal to your ego, if you know what I mean. And if anybody is worried about getting controlled by spirits or governments, work on your ego issues. But yeah, you're playing with fire when you're dealing with this stuff. You are.
There actually are demons in this world.
Yeah.
Calling up the spirit world, in particular the devil's spirit world, can actually have real world consequences. It's not something to mess with. Many Christians believe this. This is dangerous. It's not a game. It's literally evil. Second, this is what I really want you all and the people at Jezebel and Etsy to know.
This is where we are in our culture. There is a spiritual revival. There is a mass awakening happening. It's automatic. It's natural. Okay. It's supposed to happen. So many people have awakened at this point that it's like shining a light on all the evil in the world. It's automatic, because when you have that spiritual awakening, you won't want to do curses on people. You don't have enemies when you spiritually awaken. When you become conscious, you realize the silliness of it, the delusion of it. Why you realize it's all inside of you. It's all inside of you. An awakened person would not do this stuff at all. An awakened person won't be jealous. They won't be afraid. They'll have no fear. And they'll have nothing but love for other people. But at the same time, they're not going to tolerate a whole lot of bullshit either. If you're ate up with spirits, if you're irrationally angry, if you feel like you're victimized, if you are putting words in people's mouths, if you're accusing people of things that they're not doing, that's your responsibility. And you know, pseudo-learned spirits can take you over and get you all twisted up. They can. And they're when I go to Five Below, there's little witchcraft books for kids. There's all these like little spiritual books for kids. And for $5, you can have spell work. And you have to be trained in that. You have to be trained in that. And I found out the hard way. I tried to do things early. But yeah, if you're focused on loving someone else, you will receive all the love in the world, all the love in the world.
Erica and Charlie Kirk heard about these curses, and that news genuinely rattled Erica in particular. She knew Christian teaching on the subject. She loved Charlie, absolutely. And she was scared when she heard of the curses Jezebel had called up. So much so that she and Charlie contacted a friend who I believe she said was a Catholic priest, but definitely a friend, and asked him to come over and pray with them over Charlie the night before he was murdered. She eventually worked it through, and so did Charlie. That, as she later told me, weapons will form but not prosper. That Satan and those witches have no power. Of course, God's will is the one that matters, and his blessing over Charlie was real and palpable. All you had to do was spend time with Charlie to know that. But why torture a family like this? A Christian, believing family. Why do this vile thing to a young couple, parents to two babies, living in accordance with the gospel, deeply in love, yes, political, but doing nothing other than speaking publicly about their views and their desires to make other people's lives better? Who would do such a vile thing? Jezebel, that's who. And unbelievably, Etsy. And the people behind this evil, they should be called out. That's why I'm talking about it as our lead. They should be called out. Jezebel should be forced to identify the woman who wrote this and did.
And this is, hey, honey, can I, hey,
Playing some Korean workout video on that. Are you making a video right now?
yeah, come here. I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
So you here, kneel down. We want to
Okay.
talk to you about something. Kneel
Okay.
down. So, does Etsy have policies against hateful and harmful content? Like, don't they? Like,
I don't know.
like you're not allowed to promote.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, look at this. These are spells on Etsy. Like this one right here, destroy the lives of your enemies.
That's messed up.
It is messed up. Extreme bad luck spell. And I know you're going to hear this video later, so, but make them pay, return harm.
That's crazy.
It is.
That's
Curse
wild.
them.
I mean,
I'm all for, but how is this allowed on Etsy? If you,
because I think people need to find out for themselves.
you think they need to find out for them?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, how is this? Because you can't put things that glorify guns, can you, on Etsy? You can?
Yeah, you can put like gun accessories on Etsy and stuff.
But could you put something like "Kill Them All" shirt?
Probably. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that. But that's essentially what this is, isn't it?
I thought they had policies against this kind of stuff. But
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
Would
know.
you trust a spell that you bought off Etsy? It would
No.
it would probably backfire.
That destroy your enemies one looks like AI witches. These all look like AI
Well, I don't.
generated.
That looks like a stock photo.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that before.
Oh, okay. Maybe they're all stock photos.
Revenge and curse your enemy. These poor people,
Yeah.
they feel like they have to
Okay.
hurt other people. Merrick just got back from the gym.
My knees hurt too
Okay.
from kneeling like this.
Okay.
Okay.
But we love you, Merrick.
Did this. Jezebel should close, frankly. It has zero redeeming virtues or value. Etsy should stop this practice immediately and get back to arts and crafts and jewelry. And both entities should issue an immediate, full-throated apology to Erica Kirk for introducing this awfulness into her beautiful family and causing her or Charlie any distress whatsoever in what would be the waning hours of his life. It's not easy to contact them. Etsy's easier than Jezebel. Etsy, you can email them, press@etsy.com. press@etsy.com. Jezebel intentionally makes it difficult for you to reach out to them, though we did for comment on this piece, and ask them whether they will indeed republish this article and other questions as well. They didn't get back to us, but here's how you do it if you are so inclined. You go to their website, you click on contact, and then you submit your comment.
Wow. If you believe lies and you repeat those lies, that makes you a liar. Essentially, I've tried to help people realize this. Many of us in recovery, we sort of get obsessed with truth because we know truth feels good. Truth unites. Truth does not divide. Truth is kind of like, because see, the universe supports truth. The universe loves truth. The universe will collaborate with you as long as you are living in truth. If you're living a life based on lies, if you have a lot of false beliefs, and any belief that implies limitation is a false belief. If you have a bunch of lies kicking around, if you want to achieve something not based in truth, it's going to be hard for the universe to support that because the universe supports truth. If you have something going on in your life, if something is not working out for you, if something is difficult, if something is hard, it's because you're not living in truth. You believe untrue things. True things are easier to achieve, things based in truth. It's just the way that it is. And, when I realized that I was being lied to by the media, by other people who were just repeating things on the news that were not true, I'm like, why do you like being lied to? No. Why do you allow certain people, places, and things to lie to you? This is a hard lesson to learn. I can tell you that this website is nothing but lies. They're not telling the truth about stuff because it's all through the lens of a victimized ego. They need to be victims. And what do we know about people who need to be victims? They will invent and create perpetrators. Otherwise, innocent, kind people become perpetrators in their eyes. Now, if you don't know the story of Jezebel from the Bible, it didn't end too well for Jezebel. Let me just give you a brief overview. Jezebel was a Phoenician princess and queen of Israel married to King Ahab, who is famously known for promoting the worship of the god Baal in Israel. She instigated the murder of Naboth to gain his land and persecuted prophets of the God of Israel, leading to divine retribution predicted by the prophet Elijah. She met a violent end when she was thrown from a window by Jehu's men during a military coup and subsequently eaten by dogs, fulfilling Elijah's prophecy. So if you're playing with this stuff, if you're cursing people, why would you curse Charlie Kirk of all people? And if that curse did backfire, well, it made his message stronger than ever. It actually exposed a lot of this stuff. The only reason people are talking about this and saying, no more lies, no more hatred, no more intolerance, no more meanness, no more. We don't want it anymore. Is because of Charlie Kirk's death. That's it. Like this article here. This is the Charlie Kirk Memorial was a MAGA rally. Look at this. And it was a memorial service, but see, many people have said that Charlie would have wanted it that way. And, it's crazy. A belt of truth and a breastplate of righteousness. Ironic coming from the man who admitted being a serial liar for the sake of demonizing immigrants. See, nobody's demonizing immigrants. Nobody's doing that. Why do you see that? The only thing let me just talk about that. The only thing I've seen is that we cannot have undocumented people in our country and still be a safe country. That can't happen. You can't have just open borders and still be a safe country. You cannot have criminals prowling the streets. Like, nobody's demonizing immigrants. Nobody's doing that. But why do they hear that? Why do they hear that? It's crazy, but it's all getting exposed now. And I think conservatives have been more than patient with all of these lies. And I think that, you know, they're saying that Republicans are against free speech. And here's what I know about Republicans. They love the Bill of Rights. They love the Constitution. They love that stuff. They love America and American values, not the twisted sort of ideas or projections that people have about it. Get to know some conservatives. Get to know some Republicans. They're not bad people. I've gotten to know some Democrats. Whew. Oh my God. God. I just want everyone to heal. I want everyone to heal. I really, really do. So right now, if you will join me in wishing nothing but healing for people, nothing but love. If there is hate in your heart, let it go. If somebody hurt you, they know that they were wrong. Know that they didn't mean to hurt you. Know that they didn't really know what they were doing. Also, people have been deceived. People have labeled me as an enemy, and I just want to love people. I just want to love everybody. I want to love everybody. But finally, be an instrument of God. Don't be a political tool. Don't be a tool for an ideology. What do you want out of life? See, you could spend so much time hating people. That's wasted time. It's wasted time hating people. It really is. A lot of things can be solved with honest conversations. And I know that's what Charlie Kirk was all about. He had this thing, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I know that man was willing to admit he was wrong on more than a few occasions. I know that. We saw it on video. Can you admit where you're wrong today? And that's the ultimate lesson of that. Is there any areas of your life where you might want to admit that you're wrong? It's a profound, sacred thing. I love each and every one of you. I want to love y'all back to life. I want to love you. Let people love you. And I'm telling you, it is hard to let people love you. For me, it was much easier to love other people than it was to let other people love me. I was very suspicious of people who tried to love me because I felt like shit about myself. I hated myself. The people that run this Jezebel website, they hate themselves so very much that they want people to hate them too. Don't you see? Please have a lovely day. Call an old friend or a family member. Reach out. Say, I'm sorry. Especially political stuff. If you're not talking to somebody because of political reasons, I mean, it might be uncomfortable, but you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to. Otherwise, I don't know. Have a lovely day. Mwah.
A crown of flame upon her stones. She starves the flesh, the prophets scattered, voices hushed, yet thunder rolled, the heavens crushed. The painted queen leans out her tower, mocking heaven, drunk with power. But prophecy is never still, the hounds await beneath the hill. Jeweled eyes like shattered glass, a shadow kingdom could not last. The chariot came, the window broke, her laughter turned to ash and smoke. The painted queen leans out her tower, mocking heaven, drunk with power. No tune, no flame, no royal song, only dogs to right the wrong. The painted queen leans out her tower, mocking heaven, drunk with power. No tune, no flame, no royal song, only dogs to right the wrong. Her name a curse, her crown undone. The night devoured the crimson sun, and every throne of lies shall fall, for truth outlives the pride of all.